the atmosphere like now, today?
Today, we would say, what would you say?
I would say the atmosphere is beautiful. I would say that there's joy everywhere and exuberance. There is light shooting out of people's eyes. It is immaculate the way that we've kept this camp, and the way that we have kept morale up in this movement. I've never seen the people more confident. I have never seen more people out here in support, and I have never seen Columbia University more scared.
So I have a question for you guys. How many students do you know the exact number of students that have been suspended or have gotten any kind of punishment whatsoever for their unconditional support for Palestinian lives? You know, recognizing that Palestinians are human beings, for example. You know, things that are obviously considered unacceptable by the Columbia University administration.
Well, there's a number of students, I think close to 100 or maybe even over, that were disciplined in various ways, like not suspension, but maybe like academic probation or being called into like university hearings and things of that nature prior to the encampment. And then there were over 100 students who were arrested as part of the encampment, and I was one of the students who was arrested as well, and he could speak more on that. And over 80 of those students, some at Barnard College, some at Columbia College, some grad students, but all within the framework of Columbia University, have been suspended since the first encampment as well. And as of last night, we are again being threatened with disciplinary action by the university for maintaining this space. And if I would like to say more.
So we've also heard reports that Columbia University threw out the belongings of a lot of the students that were instantly suspended. And also on top of that, we've heard reports that some of the students did not have access to their dorm rooms after being suspended, having their cards made inactive, leaving them out in the dark, literally in the middle of New York City, with not really anywhere else to go, which is greatly endangering the lives of the students when Columbia University is tasked with, they have a responsibility.
All of that immediately following arrest. No break in between. And I want IM to say more on that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Columbia has evicted many of our peers, many of our comrades. They've left them without food nor shelter. And we at the People's Encampment have been providing those things to those students. I shame Columbia University's inexcusable behavior in this regard, putting the safety of its students at direct risk.
Has Columbia University in the past been more open-minded towards, let's say, right-wing content creators coming onto the campus, making the campus a less safe space? The likes of, I don't know. I don't know if there's any recent situations involving like a Ben Shapiro type or a Matt Walsh, like transphobic content creators, reactionary right-wing charlatans that oftentimes require police presence and security?
Frankly, no, I haven't seen them. I may be wrong, but I haven't seen people of that.
All right.
We have been creating so much joy and so much beauty at this encampment, and we've been speaking with so many people who are here in solidarity and who are here in support, that it totally drowns out any of that negativity that is.
And again, we want to bring the conversation back to demands, and we believe that as much pressure that we can garner from mainstream media, from alternative media, regarding the demands of the Quad organization is incredibly important. Again, like I said, financial divestment, universal amnesty, academic freedom, and disclosure of finances, where our direct and indirect investments lie.
And as the faculty said earlier, to keep the NYPD out of this campus and away from brutalizing students, as happened on Thursday.
And why is divestment such an important priority for you?
Well, it's a matter of the fact that we're students here, we're putting in our tuition money, and whether we want it or not, whether I'm morally against it or not, my money for an education is being used to refuse the right of life to other people. As a student, I'm against this. I, in good conscience, would not use my own personal money in this way, but my right to direct where the money is going is being taken away from me. And this is not unprecedented in Columbia University. Everybody knows Columbia is a protest school. People make jokes about this all the time. In 1968, again, we had people, we had our previous generation of students occupying buildings, demanding divestment from apartheid South Africa. Only recently, the university divested from Russia. This university has no holdings in Russia. But because U.S. geopolitical interests are on the side of Israel in the ongoing genocide, the university is reluctant to act in a principled manner, reluctant to act in a moral manner, and is committed to ignoring the overwhelming support Quad has on this campus. We've passed divestment referendums and resolutions in a number of our undergraduate and graduate schools, the latest one being at Columbia College. So that's the undergraduate school. We got the results of that this morning. We know that on this campus, there is mass support for refusing complicity, material complicity in violence throughout occupied Palestine. And the university continues to deny this.
Do you feel like the militant actions that Columbia University has engaged in against those speaking out against Israel's genocide is actually blowing back in their faces, and the support has only increased now with increased media presence on campus?
I mean, it's not even just increased media presence on campus, because we had a press moratorium the first few days of the encampment. What does that mean? Press were not allowed here.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones who got in were people who came in like before gates were closed, or who negotiated a way in through the journalism school or something like that. The university most definitely doesn't want press here. It's incredibly bad for their reputation. They've already suffered so much reputational damage. The optics are horrible. They haven't had NYPD on this campus for over 50 years.
The fact that there were hundreds of students encircling our encampment as the NYPD came down to brutally arrest each of us was of astronomical import in terms of rallying the student body to our side.
And we also believe that we have hope that our demands are going to be met. We've been in the negotiations process with the university since Friday, and we believe that we hold leverage within those negotiations. That being said, no matter what the outcome is, we firmly believe that this encampment has sparked something across the nation. I want to recognize the fact that Vanderbilt, as well as one other school that I don't remember, not sure which one it was, but Vanderbilt specifically did an encampment before we did, and they're not getting nearly as much media attention, despite the fact that 4 of their students were unfairly expelled. And if anybody's watching, I would ask them to pay as much attention to Vanderbilt as they are to Columbia. But going back to negotiations, even if we do not get what we want, and I'm fairly certain and cautiously optimistic that we are getting what we want. Even if that doesn't happen, we know that we've sparked a movement across this nation. Yale, their students were recently arrested this morning. The New School, NYU, what other schools? Princeton.
I think many of the schools in Boston.
This is the new thing that's happening, the occupations, and we think they're fruitful. All of that being said, something else that's really, really important is to not divert attention away from Gaza. This is getting a lot of attention, and it's important because we need to make sure that we cut off the flow of money from here to corporations that are facilitating genocide. But it's also important that we don't detract attention away from Gaza. They're still discovering mutilated bodies in Gaza right now, and we don't want to be diverting attention from that. This is in support of Gaza, in solidarity with Gaza, and so Gaza has to be central in everything.
What do you have to say to Joe Biden, who recently gave an impromptu response to directly what you guys are doing in Colombia, where his reaction was, "I condemn the anti-Semitic protests," Biden told the reporters a couple hours ago. "I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians." A little bit of both siding.
People very well understand what's going on with the Palestinians. If they had not understood over the past 75 years, they've most definitely understood in the past 6 months. We have had so much, like I am said, press and journalists within this encampment area over the past few days, and they've seen what a peaceful movement this is against our university's complicity in genocide. We have community guidelines that everybody is being briefed on as they enter within the space, and that includes the fact that this is a welcoming space for everybody, no matter what their ethnic, racial, or religious background is. We've held religious ceremonies for people of Jewish backgrounds, of Muslim backgrounds. JVP held their Sabbath program here. Muslims have been holding their congregational prayers here. For every student who's here in solidarity, this is a peaceful space. Quad had already on its own socials released a statement regarding actors who are unaffiliated with Columbia in this space. And again, like we said, we don't want to be diverting attention from what our demands are. Our demands are clear, and the nature of this movement has been clear for the past roughly 1 week in which it has been going on.
You're all students, so you're also have to be in class.